job. Whee! How good's that recall?
Go. Middle. Good job. Whee! Go. Heel. Good job. Whee! Whee! Go. Middle. Whee! Go. Heel. Stick. Whee! Good job. So guys, Lucy has pretty damn good recall. Now, here are some tips for getting good recall with your puppy or German Shepherd. Now, again, I'm not a trainer, so take everything what I say with a grain of salt. But I have worked with some amazing trainers in the past, and I believe they have contributed immensely towards helping me get Lucy relatively sharp. Now, my first tip is to have little packets of treats in containers or little Ziploc bags all around the house. And especially when they are a young puppy, and you're going to randomly call your dog to you and reward them multiple times throughout the day, randomly through the day. You're at your office doing your thing on your computer, get your dog, Lucy, come. Good girl, and you're gonna have a treat. Here you go, here's a Treato. Yes, you got a Treato, it's invisible. But you essentially wanna do that randomly all through the house. I even used to do it when I was sitting on the toilet pooping. Now my next piece of advice for this is you wanna practice calling your dog to you between you and a partner. So obviously my wife and I, we would stand at opposite ends of the house and we would call Lucy, take turns in calling Lucy, giving her a reward. Most of the time back then it was food, but you could even use a ball if they do have a good toy drive. Now, then we would extend this out from inside and would also utilize the outside area, so the backyard, and we would just slowly make it a little bit more harder and give her a little bit more rope. But also be aware, don't set your dog up to fail. So maybe if something super fun was happening out in the backyard, you got some kids and they're playing in the backyard and you're trying to get your puppy to come to you, but they see the kids and it's way more fun, that's kind of setting your dog up to fail. Small increments at a time, I think, is the best way to set your dog up for success. So make it easy, then just make it a little bit harder the next time. If they do well then, make it a bit harder after that, and they do well, then obviously keep using that process. And then the next part that we used to do is then we would take, once Lucy had mastered coming to me and my wife in the house, and then we could do it in the backyard, we then took it to the park. Now we would find a quiet area of the park. Now, Lucy had pretty damn good recall then, but we also practiced utilizing with a long lead. So we had a long lead, so she didn't just bugger off, saw a butterfly and see ya, out of there. And we would then just get Lucy and we'll practice calling her to me, my wife would call her to her, and being a German Shepherd, they're very smart, they'll cotton on very quickly. So practice this, and then once they can fluently come to you and your partner who are calling them, then maybe take them to a different area of the park where it's a little bit more exciting. Now don't set them up to fail. Don't just like walk into a middle of an off-lead dog park and then there's 100 puppies playing and sit in the middle of it and try to call your dog over. Most of the time, if it's a new pup or untrained, it probably won't happen. But over time, like I could do that with Lucy now. Sorry, Lucy, just waking her head. I could do that with Lucy now, and she would come in a heartbeat, wouldn't even hesitate. So practice makes perfect. So guys, that is essentially the method of how we got Lucy's recall super switched on. And it's realistically, it's not rocket science. It was just repetition. And we practiced and practiced and practiced. And we started in this room when Lucy was this big, or this big. She was just tiny. She could pretty much fit into a shoe. So now you can't. Hey, look at the size of you now. Can't fit in any, or maybe she could probably fit into my shoe now because I'm a size 14 feet. But we started in here. And now you can see her on pretty much any video, so she's so sharp. And it was just practice, practice, and practice. You just have to put the time into your pups.